we've made it to week 2, and that means it's time for a new plan, or a modified plan. So let's do that. My name's Zoe, my brain's a dragon, and today we are adjusting our week 1 plan, making a week 2 plan, and testing that to see if we can set ourselves up so that it makes a little bit more sense and we have some good steps in place so that week 3 isn't the complete disaster that I know it's going to be. What's that thing about an ounce of prevention being better than a liter of the cure? She says, mixing her measurement systems. It's fine. I don't actually know what an ounce is. I'm in Australia. We use the metric system. I am very confused by a lot of these sayings. It's fine. So, week 1 was largely a success. And that means that we have some good things we can use as our baseline for week 2. Namely, the 5 days of writing did seem to work, which is brilliant because having those days off really helped. Now, I didn't have a flare last week, so we're going to cross basically everything that we don't have one this week because just that's how that goes. But I did need those days off. So we're going to continue with that. But what I did find is that I didn't actually reward the try, which is what I said I was going to do because that's important. This week, we're going to reward the try. That means if I've had a really hectic day or I'm feeling like absolute shenanigans and Brain Dragon is just having one of those inner ball days, I am going to let myself have something from the reward box if I have actually tried. It doesn't matter if I succeed, it doesn't matter if I get nano words, if I get my goal word count, or if I get like 1 sprint done. That is still an effort, that is still important, and we're going to reward that. And hopefully, if I do that, it might help to sort of lean into that positive feedback loop that we've been trying to create, because feedback loops are great. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to test out whether or not the Catherine Deveny half again. One moment. I should have checked this beforehand. Okay, so in her book, Use Your Words, Catherine Deveny has a fantastic way of breaking down your goals. It is, think about how much you would like to write today. Halve it again, and write that figure down as your target. Think of 4 things that would make you more comfortable. Having a shower, eating some breakfast, making some coffee, going to the loo, putting on a cardigan, brushing your teeth. Okay, look, to be fair, this does sound like the morning routine that I should be doing, and I should probably put exercise in there as well, because it does make me feel better. And I did some this morning and felt incredibly uncoordinated, but very satisfied once I managed to get it done. The next step is, once you have completed 25% of your goal, do one of the things that makes you comfortable. Repeat every 25% until you've met your target. That means that if our target is 2,500 words for the day, we would halve that, so it'd be 1,250 words, and then we'd halve that again? Yes, which would be 750 words, which means, why can't I maths? I don't maths, people. Which means every approximately 200 words, I should do something that makes me comfortable. Now, realistically speaking, I might actually change that so that it's every sprint. I then go and make myself a cup of tea and force myself to get up and have a break and then maybe eat something and maybe stretch and maybe do some things. Actually, to be honest, a cup of tea and some hand stretches would probably do a really good job at making me feel like Nano was a little bit more doable. So we might do that. I do quite like this book. It is very interesting. It is one of the few I have in hard copy because I got it before my brain dragon decided that reading was hard. So, with that as a change to the way we are doing our writing time structure, what else are we going to change? We're actually going to do some data collection and figure out what times I have people around so that I can do sprints with them, because I am absolutely motivated by social obligation. You want me to do something for myself, make it something that I'm doing for someone else, and then I'll pretty much be guaranteed to do it, even if I'm exhausted and don't want to. The amount of times that I've been like, I am totally done for the day, woo! But one of my time zone adjacent buddies has got on and been like, it's my start of my writing day, someone come and write with me. And there's just like crickets, except I'm still there. And then I'm like, okay, let's go do some words. I'm sure I've got another sprint or 3 in me. This is how it happens. So, knowing that, I need to be able to lean into that, particularly for the days when I'm feeling a little bit tired. If I can do that, that might actually really help, particularly setting up for week 3. We are not going to try and actually do the extra sprints this week. We are just trying to find out where they would be so that when I hit week 3, I have some kind of contingency plan. I know that it seems ridiculous to be planning contingencies for week 3 now, but believe me, they are necessary. I'm also going to try and work in some scheduled time for planning, filling out my World Bible, and believe it or not, actually taking some time off. I found that doing the day of reading manga and drinking tea and making brownies actually surprisingly rejuvenating. It shouldn't come as a surprise that if you take a break from the thing you're doing, your brain plays with it in the background and then it feels like a new exciting adventure when you come back. But I get surprised by things that are very obvious on a very regular basis because they've fallen out of one of the holes that Brain Dragon has dug. I am going to do my best to, using those time brackets of when I have people and when I don't, find some time in there to relax or do simple world building stuff that's just taking things from one document to another and making it so that it's part of a habit. This will really help, particularly if I go back and do things like write the scene outlines so that I know what I actually wrote down so that when I look at editing it, the scene outline's already done. Wouldn't that be handy? It'd also mean that I would have a working scene outline that I could then try and reverse engineer the next time I decided to do phase 4, because phase 4 was, interesting. So that's the plan. It's pretty much an extension of what we did for week 1. We have very clear metrics. Get from the current point in Act 2 to the midpoint, which gets us to 25,000 words, which gets us another reward because I know what I want and I'm so excited and I just have to get there, which is exactly the attitude we want. And also practice some more productivity techniques. The productivity techniques are not going to be calculated, they're just going to be what they are. And of course, use the reward box. We put time into that. Use the darn thing. Just because it's a hoard doesn't mean you don't get to use it. It just means that you put the things back in the hoard once you've finished using them for the moment. This is fine. That's exactly what a resource hoard is supposed to be about. Use the thing, put it back, have a wonderful time. No point just looking at it on the shelf, she says mostly to herself in this regard. I hope that your week 2 is looking like it's going to be fun and there's some more enthusiasm still kicking away. I am going to go make myself a cup of tea, or actually, you know what? I'm probably going to go do a sprint and then make myself a cup of tea, because Catherine Deveny method, and then I'm going to figure out what adventures we are on today, and hopefully tell some really interesting stories about it, because there are shenanigans afoot. Bye, lovely!